I don't even want to try and explain how much I love my kingdom for being drama free. In fact, it is so drama free, it actually frustrates me because I feel like people just don't care enough. But that's me being an idiot, okay? And you know what's actually frustrating? It's when you get zeroed by a 50-year-old man-child who just can't handle his leadership telling him, hey, you are just not good enough. So ladies and gentlemen, there is a kingdom right now, 2797, that has some bonafide drama going on. There is a player there named Team Charlie. And I'm gonna say it right away, I don't have an ounce of empathy or positive things to say about this player, because he is a detriment to a kingdom. He now tries to overtake the kingdom, which was the plan all along. Right from the beginning, he wanted to become the king. That was the plan. And he also, doing all of these things, actually wants to kickstart a YouTube career, which is not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not have a future in Rise of Kingdoms YouTubing. There is one very simple reason: you weaponize your audience. It is the one cardinal sin on YouTube. Any bad faith actor, as soon as they weaponize their audience, they get deplatformed, because this kind of shit doesn't have a place on YouTube. So, ladies and gentlemen, the situation, the introduction, I'm gonna let him explain, which is kind of ironic because he is absolutely in the wrong.
The Cliff Notes version is, I told the Kingdom leadership that I wasn't going to be available to play in the last KVK. They essentially said that was okay. Then leadership kind of changed. They complained that I didn't participate in the last KVK, which is precisely what I told them was going to happen. The reason I didn't participate was due to a new career and a new baby. My baby is now 9 months old. My availability hasn't really improved, but I did, and I've been a man of my word the entire time. I did commit to them that in the next KVK I would zero my troops, either solo defending a flag or fort, or just defending a flag or fort. Just whatever needed to happen. It would be a quick thing. Like, I would get in, I would basically sacrifice all my troops, and then I would get out, because I just don't have a lot of time. But they weren't willing to look into the future and trust that I was going to do what I said, just like I had in the past.
So there is a lot of deception here, and at least one lie. So he says the leadership has kind of changed, which, okay, what is it? Has it changed or not? Kind of changed is not a statement, it's not an argument, that's not how a debate works or whatever. And if you want to get an audience on your side, then that's not how it works, okay? So then he says his availability hasn't improved, so that means that's an AFK 100 million power player, because in another video he said he has only been logging in and grabbing his legendary sculptures from the VIP level. So you expect your kingdom to be okay that they have a 100 million power player who is AFK for at least 3 months at the very least, and then you say you committed to the kingdom and you are a man of your word. Well, first of all, you are not a man, at least not in my eye. Like, I only have one eye, the other one is blind, but that one eye tells me that you are not a man, because a man doesn't respond the way you do. A man doesn't behave like a fucking toddler. So he says he's a man of his word, but what is there to honor? There is nothing, because like, you expect your kingdom to be okay with you being AFK. There is nothing to honor, okay? And I'm going to tell you, any kingdom that is not completely dead, it's not okay with what you are doing. At that point, why are you not playing Farmville? Because that is quite literally what you are doing. So then, ladies and gentlemen, he says he pledged to go into the next KVK and basically delete his troops by going into a flag or something. You can just delete your troops in your city. So here's the thing. He has 100 million power city. It's been at that power level for a very long time. And he has 1 billion kill points, which already tells you he's not like a great fighter or anything. And he actually now wants to leave the kingdom, which he doesn't want to. He wants to become the king. But his issue is, and why he wants to leave, is because they have a too high expectancy of him. He is not a great fighter, so he doesn't really care about kill points, right? So what is the issue with deleting troops? And he himself says he wouldn't have an issue with this. And then he gave a piece of information which from the very beginning he should never have given out, because it undermines everything he will ever say. He has passports. He has, I think he says he has 56. I could screw up the number a little bit. It could actually be more, but I think he said 56. And 56 passports, I think, is a 58 to 90 million power migration, if I'm not wrong. Might be 80 to 85, but that still is a lot of power, more than enough to be AFK in a Tinder kingdom or whatever. So there is a lot of deception and definitely lies in between. So one lie, for example, is definitely that he doesn't have time. That is just not true, and probably from the very beginning not true. So his kid, he says, is now 9 months old. So how come you had time in the beginning and now you don't? But you do have time, we all know that, because now that you created drama and you fucking up the fun in the game for 100 people, now all of a sudden that you get clicks on your videos, you have time. There's one video after another on his channel now coming out, and he has time playing the game. Now that all of a sudden he has the prospect, which will not happen, but he does have the prospect of becoming a lazy fat ass who is sitting on YouTube all the time and making videos instead of going to work. But it's not going to happen. Take a look at his channel and you will just see it's not going to happen. Like, he doesn't have a career on YouTube. So ladies and gentlemen, the lunacy, the absolute lunacy then starts. Watch this. So he teleports in and starts zeroing people, and since then he has been zeroing kinda everybody he can actually zero, which mostly is only 30 million power players. And in another video he says he has no malice in his heart, which is a lie. Or maybe he just doesn't understand himself properly, or maybe, you know, he just wants to be seen as the nice guy, which I'm not stupid, okay, and I have a little bit of knowledge and expertise, and I can tell, like, no, you are not the nice guy, and you are definitely acting with malicious intent. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. The first person he teleports to and starts zeroing, he looks at them and says, when I migrated a year ago, so that is a year ago, a fucking year ago, they said I have too much power and I'm not good enough for my power level, which is absolutely true. In any fighting kingdom, you have too much power for what you do, which you are doing nothing. Then he says, but they also congratulated me for my newborn baby. But then he says, yeah, but whatever. And you know, I expect that from a 10-year-old on TikTok, but not a 50-year-old on YouTube. This, I don't care, whatever. And he does that all the time. He says, whatever, I don't care. That's an argument for him. In his brain, it is an argument. So tell me, how are you not acting out of malice, thinking back a year ago when somebody made a perfectly valid argument, and even if it wasn't true, even if you would have contributed, what you never did, even then it is a valid argument that has to be addressed. He has a very fragile ego, okay? His ego is like this, and there is a very easy way to prove this. In the very first video he says, okay, I'm gonna show you what I'm about to do. Some people are going to hate it, some people probably feel entertained, but I don't care, because you know, he's like a 10-year-old girl and he's like, I don't care. And it's very telling that in the very next video, the one thing he does, basically the only thing in terms of the video, the visuals, he looks at YouTube comments and he's like, hey, I actually had like positive feedback, and then he reads comments. That tells you of his ego. So he looks at the comments, and of course there is somebody saying 100 million power, 1 billion kill points, what a slacker, which is again absolutely true if you are in a kingdom that tries to do something. And he then argues that 100 million power is not a lot of power when you think about it. It's just above average. Why do you have an above average city? Like, why? You are not doing anything. You are AFK. You are a nothing burger of a player. So why do you have over 100 million power? So ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot, okay, to talk about. I could make a 2-hour video about this. But at this point I want to get into why is he doing all of this. Now I said it already. He wants to become the king. He wants to kickstart a YouTube career, and I want to get into the YouTube career just a little bit. So he started talking in the second video about Jiscool, and of course, which, you know, like, try to get Jiscool into your story. That is kickstarting your YouTube career. So he says Jiscool is kind of responsible for, or at fault for, creating a toxic environment where everybody has to perform. There is such high expectations and stuff like this. Now, first and foremost, that's not true. That's not the environment in Rise of Kingdoms. It's not competitive. I'm laughing my ass off if somebody says Rise of Kingdoms is competitive. The other thing is, Jiscool is not a competitive player, okay? He plays Rise of Kingdoms, he spends a lot of money, and he can't just do whatever he wants. In World of Warcraft, Jiscool, I'm sorry baby, nothing but love. I'm critical of you, but nothing but love. Jiscool didn't do shit in World of Warcraft, okay? Season 2 Gladiator with Paladin Warrior is literally the most disrespected Gladiator title in the World of Warcraft history. And I do know for a fact that he didn't do anything great when it comes to raiding. So no, Jiscool is not like this hyper-competitive workhorse. That's just not true. The thing he then does is he says Jiscool should talk about this to his audience, which already like tells you he wants Jiscool to talk about Team Jolly, because it would be, hey guys, Team Jolly, there is this thing going on, and he says I should talk about this, kind of that thing. But the text on Team Jolly's video says, hey guys, can you please help me get this message to Jiscool, and maybe we can discuss this together. Which Team Jolly now wants to be paired up and associated with Jiscool. So that is never going to happen, okay? Jiscool, as I said, I'm very critical of him, and that has specific reasons. But the one thing I will say is Jiscool understands very fucking well how to run his business, and he will not be stupid enough to associate himself with you. And if he was talking to you, trust me, he would not have something positive to say. He definitely wouldn't wipe your ass. He would actually wipe the floor with you. Because what you are doing is ruining the fun for 100 people and destroying a kingdom, because you are throwing a tantrum. Now, like I said, he is kickstarting his career. He makes now video after video after video, and all of a sudden some things on his channel are actually improving. If you look back on his channel, he has a Fortnite video, for example, where he is playing with his 8-year-old, and he is of course playing Fortnite. In his title it says dropping a 20 bomb. So you already kind of know he was trying to clickbait, you know, do everything he can to get clicks, and he didn't. Which makes a lot of sense, because the video had like 5 frames per second. I made World of Warcraft PvP videos in 2005 and they had 45 frames per second. How are you making videos in 2022 and they have 5 frames per second? It's kind of wild to me. But now all of a sudden it's a little bit, you know, every time there's a little bit of improvement. One time you couldn't hear him properly because there was like a fan in the background or whatever. Then his camera looks like he's Casper the Ghost, and all those things are slowly improving all of a sudden. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very apparent. I can see it with my one working eye that this person from the very beginning was only interested in stirring up trauma, killing the kingdom, getting into a profitable situation and kickstart his career with this whole stuff that is going on. That is all Team Charlie is doing. When it comes to 2797, I'm really fucking sorry to you. The big issue is there is no mechanic in the game where you can protect your kingdom from something like this happening. Even bigger issue is Lilith cannot do anything. Like, I don't want Lilith to do anything because it opens up a can of worms that we as players definitely don't want to open up. Now imagine his kingdom complains to Lilith and they become active and they ban Team Charlie or force him to migrate, which would be even worse because then he has to be in another kingdom. But imagine they ban him. You now opened up that can of worms where all of a sudden kingdoms can actually take advantage of making up stories, and you know, when there's actually bad faith leaderships, they can take advantage and say, yeah, he did this, he did that, and then they get banned. Which, especially if you think about when it's important people, and I'm, you know, nothing but love, and I'm not alleging anything, whatever. I'm just saying when it's an important person. So you take, for example, Kingdom 1960, where Lilith is, you know, more willing to cater to them. If they are unhappy with the situation, but they are not even in the right, and they would say, hey, Lilith, you have to do something. Well, Lilith now would actually do something. That is why I say, as players, we definitely don't want Lilith to step into this situation. With that being said, again, I'm really freaking sorry to the kingdom, especially the ones that got zeroed, you know, the innocent bystanders. And for all those watching this video who are maybe saying like, yeah, I don't see that and I don't agree. Well, I don't know how obvious you can actually make it. Go watch all of his videos. It's the most obvious thing ever. But I'm gonna ask you this. Look at your game, and now whatever kingdom you are in, it could be 2005, 1379, 2100, it doesn't matter, any kingdom. You're in your kingdom. And all the time, in every single kingdom, you have a little bit of a dispute between a leadership and a player. Now, this especially happens after a KVK, when the people get thrown out who didn't really contribute. And most of the time there is a dispute. Most of the time those people don't agree with the fact that they are not contributing. Now imagine you log in one day and you are being zeroed because of such a dispute, and a 50-year-old behaved like a man-child and was running rampant with his dead ass 100 million power city. That is not what we want. And here we are going to conclude the arc. He says Chisgul created a toxic environment of high competition and yada yada, which is not true. That's fucking not true. Well, Team Charlie, speaking to you directly, what are you creating right now? What is the environment that you are creating? You committed the one cardinal sin on YouTube. The one thing that is surefire stopping your career, which is weaponizing your audience. And now you fuck up this kingdom and because you throw a tantrum, and that is the environment that you are creating, where it is okay to do something like this. That's not the way it works. Absolutely not. So ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. I want to say, if Team Charlie in any way, shape or form responds to this video, I'm not going to respond, okay? My wisdom only brings me as far as hip-hop music allows me to, okay? And Jay-Z said to me that don't argue with fools because people from a distance cannot tell who is who. I am not going to argue or talk to Team Charlie in any way, shape or form. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, on my channel there's going to be more and more content now. Unfortunately, I had back-to-back videos where I was mostly just looking at the camera and talking. That is going to change. I have a video series coming up called Be a Good Player, which trust me, it's going to be very interesting. I hope I can produce it in the way I imagine. Some shortcomings will definitely be there, but I hope it's gonna be what I envision. I'm streaming more often. I'm thinking about every third day. And yeah, then I'm gonna also have a video about my account and the future of my account, what I'm going to try to do, and so on and so forth. Also going to have a video about Hunt for History because somebody was specifically asking about that. And I'm also going to try and redo my old videos, like the equipment guide and stuff like that, because those were shitty videos. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your favorite idiot. I'm gonna say it with the words of the critical drinker. That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
We just need to bring as many farm accounts from all over Rise of Kingdoms to 2797 in the upper left hand corner. Join the alliance. It's an anyone can join alliance. Then when it's full, we'll create a second alliance and a third alliance, and it'll also be an anyone can join alliance. We will fill the space, we will fill the zone if we can manage to get enough people. And I don't want it to stop. I just want it to keep on and keep on and keep on, and more people come. It's kind of inactive. Here's a 34 million power city. So my plan today, and I have nothing personal against these people. They're just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His foot stance, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he doesn't even like to smile, whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck.